get a lot of emails and messages on social media asking me about webcomics. Webcomics question, webcomics question, homophobic YouTube comment, webcomics question, weird guy commenting about my eyes, webcomics question. And the fact is, I don't have a huge amount of free time to answer them all, so I thought I'd make this quick video so that I can cover the basics. A few years ago I made a video called How to Make a Webcomic, and I'll put a link to that in the description bar below, which was a short introduction to making webcomics. This video's from 2011? My god, I look so young. Maybe you should go back to recording in 480p, it would help your wrinkles. Screw you, troll. This video you're watching now is going to build on that. First of all, let's consider the kind of webcomic you want to make. There's several basic kinds, the most common being newspaper style comics, where you get 3 or 4 panels in a row and they usually end with a joke. We tend to call these gag-a-day comics because they are laid out to present a joke each episode. And long-form comics, where you get a full page of comic laid out and drawn in the style of a standard comic book. There may be a joke at the end of each page, or it may be that each page is simply the next page in an ongoing story. So which style is best for you? Well, only you can answer that. Is that the same you as in only you can save mankind? Shut up, asshat! Are you wanting to tell jokes? If so, then gag-a-day is the best format for you. But if you're wanting to go more for the drama, or you think you're going to go more for drama and you're not quite sure yet, but you want to hedge your bets, then long form is better for you, because if you go for the newspaper style, you'll quickly find that actually 3 or 4 panels a day isn't great for making drama. And oh my goodness, did I ever find that out when I tried to run a serious story in All Over the House one time? Never again. A good rule of thumb is to ask yourself this: are you going to focus on jokes? If you're not, try the long form style. It will actually help you out because it gives you more range to help build the drama that you might want to go for. If you want to stay wacky, go for the newspaper style. The smaller number of panels and the smaller amount of space means that your writing has to be tighter, and when it comes to gags, tightness is good. That's what she said. That makes no sense. Your face makes no sense. My face is your face. Yeah, well, sucks to be you. Oh, hang on. Okay, now that you know your style, you're going to have to work on your pacing. How often are you going to update? Your update schedule has a serious impact on how you tell your story. If you're only going to update once or twice a week, then you're going to have a lot more tighter and faster paced story just to keep your readers' interest. People will come back the next day if you're taking it slow and building up tension, but they're less likely to stick around if you have to wait a week just for any kind of payoff. But they won't stick around if all you give them for a week's worth of update is a guy walking across a room and reaching for a door, or opening a briefcase and checking its contents. But as with everything, there are of course exceptions to this rule. If you can make a complete lack of plot and development central to your story, then the audience will stick around, because even though you're not advancing anything with each update, they're still getting a payoff. Just remember to pace properly and keep building that suspense and you'll be okay. Have you noticed that I haven't actually mentioned art yet? That's because, like it or not, art isn't as important to webcomics as writing. Your art can take a back seat as long as the story flows properly. Zero art comics have become really big, especially since the launch of XKCD, and sprite comics have been doing it for years, because you don't need art talent for a sprite comic, you're using someone else's art talent. And the truth is, you can have stunning art on your comic, but if you haven't got any good writing to actually hook people once they've seen the pictures, people aren't going to be interested. You can start a webcomic with bad art but good writing, but if you start with good art and really terrible writing, people aren't going to stick around to see whether you improve, because there's nothing there beyond pretty pictures to hook them in, and that's what you want. You want to hook them in. So the trick is, get your writing down pat and let the art develop gradually. For example, take a look at my first webcomic. This is the first episode of The Life of Nobmouse from 1996. It breaks all the rules of comics by having no perspective, terrible character design, and no speech bubbles, so you can't actually read what's going on. It looks awful, but people stuck with it because it was different and it was moderately funny. The Life of Nobmouse was the 17th comic ever put on the internet, so it was new and people thought, oh, that's fresh. There weren't comics on the internet. You don't have that advantage. When you launch your comic, chances are hundreds of other comics are launching the same day, so you've got to do something special to get seen in that crowd. Chances are most of the webcomics will look as bad as Nobmouse. They'll probably have terrible writing. If you can get a hook, like good writing, then that will mean you stand apart. And the fact is that most of those comics that launch at the same time as you, most of them will die off because people won't read them because they're not good, and then the artists and writers who are working on them will get bored with getting no payoff from the audience, so they'll fall by the wayside. So if you can keep going and build yourself up and get yourself better, because it's all practice as we go along, then you will do fine. It won't be immediate, because let's face it, people don't normally start looking at a webcomic until it's got 30 episodes under its belt, because at that point the artist has probably worked out what they want to do with the comic. So people will look around then. So if you can stick it out and get through that initial lull, then perhaps you've got a chance, and that's what you're looking for. Okay, that's really all I've got time for today, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you did like this and that you found it interesting. If you want to leave any questions or comments in the comments bar below, that's fine. You can also do it on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. And if you do, I'll try and answer as many comments as I can. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. I hope you did like this, and if you did, remember to click the like button, share it with your friends so that they get a bit of advice on making webcomics too, and do subscribe for future videos because there will be more in the future. This is the new format for the show. We're going to have one topic a week, and then we'll go with that, see how it goes. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. I've been Kirk-Robinson, you've been watching the Nobmouse Show, and I'll see you next time. A few years ago, I made a video called How to Make a Webcomic. Did I? Yes. Yes, I did.